We offer financing and payment plans. Lock down your selection with confidence. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Unearth the secret to long-lasting tires at Tread's Central Tire Pros, a league apart in commitment, service, and expertise. This isn't just about rubber meeting the road, but trust, safety, and surety converging in perfect harmony. This is where expectations are exceeded every time. Make your appointment today at Tread Central Tire Pros, just south of Cortland on Highway 77, or visit our website to explore our services. Remember, when it comes to tires, choose Tread Central Tire Pros because we tread differently.
Midwest Bank is proud to be your local community bank right here in Lincoln. This is Kim with Midwest Bank. We know there is more to your business than numbers and spreadsheets. For us at Midwest Bank, the people who make up a business matter most. We believe in getting to know you and your business and providing customized banking solutions that help protect your business and help it grow. Schedule a free consultation with us today. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Learn more at midwest.bank. Member FDIC.
You can get diesel anywhere, but what about Atomic Diesel? That comes from Stern. Atomic Diesel is your solution to all your cold weather problems. Prevent clogged fuel filters, increase your fuel economy, and save money with Atomic Diesel. Contact Roger at Stern today by calling 1-800-477-2744 to see how Atomic Diesel and the rest of their line of fuels and lubricants can keep your operation running at max capacity.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career? Or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Are you ready to join a family-owned local company that values innovation, integrity, and excellence? Look no further than Lincoln Industries. They're hiring for first and third shift production roles, as well as multiple engineering and sales positions. Whether you're an engineer ready to design groundbreaking solutions or a sales professional eager to connect with clients, they've got a place for you. Come join their family. Visit www.lincolnindustries.com for more information.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! You're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Presented by NIPCO. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Happy Wednesday, happy hump day, y'all. Thanks for finding us here on stream on 93.7 The Ticket. We are here at 1040 O Street. We'll go to our Aloe Fiber VIP line in just a moment here to welcome in Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald. But first, we want to give a big shout out, a big thanks to Starter Heyman Jewelers for giving us our live video streams, their sponsorship of that. If you've got a comment or a question, you can send it in on stream or still on our text line at 402-464-5685. And a big shout out to Nebco for their sponsorship of On the Block. Let's turn our attention to that Aloe Fiber VIP line where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. Welcoming in Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald. Evan, I didn't talk to you last week. I was out, but here we are. Fall camp is rolling. As you've talked to the players, you've talked to the coaches. What's the vibe? What's the mood around Husker football here through the first couple weeks of fall camp?
I think it's changed as you go through it. Like the first week or so is all excitement and adrenaline and you're ready to be back and you've got the pads on. And I think this week, really for the first time, you hear from the players and they're just kind of like, you gotta keep at it, keep pressing on, keep grinding through it. This is the point where the bodies start to ache a little bit. They had their first full contact scrimmage last Saturday. They're going to have their second one this Saturday. You're still kind of far enough away from that August 31st opener to where you're not quite ramping up for a game yet. So we're kind of in, I suppose, the dog days of training camp a little bit, where there aren't a ton of questions maybe that still need answering with this team. I think they've got a lot of things figured out. The culture pieces from a year ago are largely set. And so it's just kind of about the process and every day trying to get a little bit better and really embracing that. I thought we heard from Elijah Judy, one of the defensive linemen, yesterday, and I thought he made a great point. He's like, last year I didn't really fully dive all in to all of the stuff that Nebraska has us do. And he said, I do now. And so I think that's kind of where this team is. You're still, again, far enough out that you don't quite have the jitters of a game quite yet. But I think this is where commitment culture really takes hold as they're plowing ahead, getting closer to the season.
You've gotten the chance to hear from a couple of the new coaches that have some NFL experience, Glenn Thomas and John Butler. When you listen to those two guys, is their NFL experience tangible? Is it like apparent in what they say and how they say it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, John Butler, listening to him talk and coach his guys during the portion of the open practice that we as media got last week was really cool. I mean, he's articulate. He projects. You got to do that as a coach on the field. Yeah, just constantly teaching. He's not afraid to jump in there and demonstrate a drill or a technique in addition to just telling guys. And I mean, he's just someone who's been in the NFL for multiple seasons, who was a coordinator at the Big Ten level, has been with multiple Big Ten teams. So you can just tell the confidence, the experience that he has. And so, I mean, what an example of Nebraska making the most out of a tough situation with Evan Cooper resigning in early July to get that guy on your staff. I mean, pretty amazing get by Matt Rule and the Huskers there. And then, Glenn Thomas, I mean, he's just kind of like Butler, a no-nonsense guy. When those guys talk at the podium, they want to talk football. There's not a lot of sort of philosophical fluff. There's not a lot of tangents. It's down to business. And, when you have a guy like Glenn Thomas who can reference his interactions with Matt Ryan with the Atlanta Falcons when he's talking about working with quarterbacks, I mean, that's a pretty good place to start before you even get into some of the other stops that he's had as an OC or working with quarterbacks elsewhere. So, I think there's a lot of experience there. These guys have been winners at their previous stops. They develop the players that they have had. And when you look at quarterback and defensive back, I mean, those are two spots where Nebraska likes the clay that it has, so to speak. And now it's about molding it and finding the best situations for it to win and to succeed. And they think they're well on their way to that.
Okay, so first off, do you miss any of the philosophical fluff in the tangents from years past?
It depends. I always liked listening to Greg Austin, the offensive line coach. Like, he was someone who could, I think, inspire in that way. There were other coaches, I would say, who would get on those tangents, and maybe there was like a novelty to it at first, but I think the further you went into a season, it was just kind of like, okay, let's talk business. Let's talk about the roster. Let's kind of get down to it. And sometimes it was hard to glean a lot of truth or insight or pin them down on certain points or whatever. So I do think there can be a time and a place for it, but I also think like when it's time to go, like just let's talk about it. Let's answer the questions and you kind of provide that insight for the fans and for the media and everyone else. So I guess I would say there's a blend of that, but there's certainly less of that on Matt Rule's staff than there have been under previous staffs for sure.
Then back to Thomas and Butler. Who has the tougher job? Is it Thomas in raising the floor of the quarterbacks from what we saw last year, or for Butler to raise the ceiling of the defensive backs and helping to create more takeaways?
I think right now it would have to be Thomas who has the tougher job. I mean, you're talking about pretty much a reset room where you have two freshmen. You've got an NAIA transfer and Jalen Gramstad. You do have Heinrich Harburg back, who started 8 games last year, but he's still relatively young as a quarterback and learning the position at the college level. So it's not like you have a veteran, a Division I veteran, really in the room at this point. So I think bringing those guys along, and there's kind of a range of experience there too. Like you can't necessarily, the things that you're going to say maybe to Raiola or Kalen is probably going to be different than the things you're going to say to Gramstad or even Harburg. So I think trying to kind of bridge that gap while getting somebody and multiple somebodies ready to potentially be the starter and to take snaps, I think that's probably the bigger challenge at this point. The secondary situation, they've got a lot of veteran guys back there. I mean, it's a heck of a start when you've got Isaac Gifford and Marquise Buford and Malcolm Hartzog and Tommy Hill. I mean, those guys are leaders. They're proven playmakers. And yeah, I mean, there's the next level of intercepting the ball instead of just knocking it down or being a playmaker on that side of the ball. But like you have so much leadership there. You have talent, you have depth. I mean, there's 20 plus defensive backs in that room right now. So even if you were hit with a little bit of attrition at the top, I mean, you're talking about guys like Sear Wright or Mario Buford or Amari Sanders or so many other guys who have turned heads in fall camp. I think you have a lot of options on that side. So the challenge for Butler is probably to kind of figure out that 2 deep and who maybe deserves to be in that second unit. But I do think the challenge for Glenn Thomas is a little bit more pressing, maybe a little more urgent, and whether he succeeds or not is probably going to be more obvious as the quarterback play and the season begins here in a few weeks.
Hey, Evan, me and Austin got into it a little bit on yesterday, a little debate. It wasn't like
we made up. We're good.
I wasn't
Everyone's
Terrence
good.
Crawford in him, in the ring or anything. I wasn't doing anything like that. But we had a discussion because we've all seen this. We kind of knew that things were kind of progressing ultimately to a super conference type of deal. And the debate was which conference has from top to bottom the most depth. When you're looking at the SEC and the Big Ten, what say you, honestly?
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, the Big Ten's got the 2 extra teams, obviously, at this point. The Big Ten, I think what's interesting about the Big Ten is that glut of a middle class. I mean, once you get past Ohio State, Oregon, maybe Michigan, maybe Penn State, like teams say 5 to, 14, 15 are really similar. And I think that probably means that the challenge week in and week out in the Big Ten is a little bit greater maybe than the SEC. The SEC has been so top heavy traditionally with your top 3 or 4 teams. And obviously everyone knows what Alabama and Georgia and LSU have done, teams like that. But I think you get to the bottom third maybe of that league and there are a lot of wins to be had. I mean, Vanderbilt's still there. Arkansas hasn't been great. Mississippi State, I think there are a lot of teams. If you're an SEC, if you're an average SEC team, I think you can look at that schedule in the SEC and see more potential wins than maybe in the Big Ten, again, where there's so little separation outside of maybe like your bottom 3 or 4 teams. And even those teams, like everyone says it's going to be Purdue and Indiana at the bottom, but I don't think it would shock people if they were to contend for a bowl game right this year. I mean, I really don't think it would be that surprising. So I guess that's all a kind of a roundabout way of saying I think the Big Ten's a little deeper, but the SEC, as it has been for a while, is definitely more top heavy and is going to have more CFP representation and will probably have more say in the national championship.
I don't think there's much of an argument that the SEC is both deeper and more top-heavy than the Big Ten when it comes to baseball. So let's switch there. Will Bolt's 5-year extension, $100,000 pay raise, set to make $500,000 through the 29th season. Evan, Nebraska wasn't going to let Will Bolt enter, a season with 1 year remaining on his contract for a lot of reasons. When you see that extension, 5 years and the $100,000 pay bump, do you think that's warranted based on the first 4 and change years of the Will Bolt era?
I think it was an appropriate extension, yeah. And people can make the jokes about Nebraska extending coaches, especially in football, and how a lot of that hasn't worked out well. But I think this was a smart move. I mean, the year that Nebraska just had, winning 40 games, Big Ten tournament champs, back to the NCAA tournament, you're producing draft picks. I mean, all that's positive, forward momentum stuff. And I think, when you look at the first 5 years of the Will Bolt era, you think about the COVID year, you throw that out. You win the Big Ten in 21 and you make a run pretty deep into that regional in Arkansas. And then you have a couple down years. And I think the coaches would tell you that what they learned, especially in 22, was that the way that college baseball was going, you couldn't recruit the way that you could recruit 5 years ago and bring in a bunch of freshmen and let them develop. Like with the COVID years and the transfer portal, the best teams are veteran and they're going to stay that way. And Nebraska wasn't that in 22, and they really struggled for it. And then you look at 23 and they had some of the high draft picks. 4 guys get drafted in the top 10 rounds, which was all positive, but they still miss out on a regional and struggle in the midweek. So I think this is a staff where, you got to remember that Will Bolt was a first-time head coach at Nebraska, and he's, I think, learned a lot on the job. And I think, 2, recognizing how much college baseball has changed in the time that he's been here. And so, when you look at what's to come, I think the first question, and Nebraska hasn't, and the Big Ten haven't really defined this yet, is what's their level of commitment in an era when you can scholarship all 34 guys on your roster in another year. That's going to be huge. If Nebraska goes all in on that, your outlook for what they can be is a lot different than if they stay at 11.7. So I think that's part of it. And then you look at his assistant coaching staff. Rob Childress, Mike Sirianni, Lance Harvell, you look at some of the recruiting work that they've done in the last 6 to 8 months, or even the last year. They're bringing in some high-level pitching, especially some high upside hitters. And I think there's a lot of optimism that this can pan out pretty well for Nebraska in the next year or two. And then add on top of that the fact that this lineup that's back next year is pretty veteran. You have most of your guys back who were major contributors last year, with the exception of Josh Caron and a couple outfielders. So I think there's a lot of positive momentum. I think probably the next 5 years need to be more successful than these first 5, but I do think the lessons learned, and what they did accomplish was enough to warrant this extension.
I'm glad you went with they probably need to be more successful. 137 wins in 4 and change years, not bad. 2 regionals out of, essentially 4 years, 50-50, not terrible. 1 regular season and 1 tournament championship in the Big Ten. Do you think 3 regionals is fair? Do you think it has to be 4 in the next 5 years? Is there another conference title or 2 in the mix? What do you think the next step of success is for this program?
Well, again, I think the first thing you got to determine is if you're Nebraska, what's your level of commitment to college baseball? And if you're going to say, hey, we're going to scholarship, 30 guys or whatever, or the max, or come close to the max, then I think your expectations, should be NCAA tournament in at least 3 out of 5 years, because you can bet that not everybody in that field is going to be operating at the same level from a resources perspective as you are. If you're Nebraska and you say, hey, we're going to go to 15 and not be a leader in the Big Ten in that regard, then I think you are saying you're fine as a program with 2 or 3. every 5 years. And I think Nebraska will be more committed. And you look at the fan interest and the attendance and just, historically what people expect of the program, it seems to me like this is something Nebraska will go deeper in on. You have the staff there. There's still momentum about player development, facility upgrades in terms of adding, potentially a pitching lab or a weight training center right there in the Haymarket Park campus for players to come on. So it does seem like Nebraska continues to invest more in baseball. And if that's the case, if you're a leader in the Big Ten in that regard, if you're an NIL leader in your conference in baseball, then you should be expected to go to the NCAA tournament more often than not. And so I think they have the staff in place to do that. Again, you look at some of the recruits that are coming in, there's a lot of positive momentum right now with the program. So, I would say at the minimum would be 3 out of 5 years. And if you're able to continue to acquire talent through all these financial resources, then it could even be more consistent than that.
Who do you think are the teams that are going to invest? I'm with you. I think Nebraska can and probably should invest more in baseball, especially relative to the Big Ten. Do you think Indiana bumps it up? Maryland, Ohio State? Where does Iowa fall? Who do you think are those teams that will, get closer to 25 or 30 scholarships moving forward?
Yeah, it's a great question. And it's also to be determined, like, if the Big Ten has set some kind of a standard for its teams, or if every individual team kind of can do whatever it wants. But yeah, you look at some of the traditional powers. Indiana tends to be up there. Michigan has flown higher than anybody else, getting to the CWS finals 5 years ago. And so they have a commitment to a certain level. Iowa's, to me, has always kind of struck me as more of a Moneyball kind of team. They've done more with less, and their analytics have, I think, squeezed the most out of the talent that they've had. But it seems to me that Nebraska would be at, right near the top, just given their baseball history. Ohio State, maybe, with their new coaching staff in place. It's hard to say. And this is a moment where a lot of programs are going to have to, kind of put their chips on the table a little bit. I think you've kind of been able to, if you're a Big Ten team and you've wanted to be, so-so or put some effort into baseball, but not a lot, you can kind of hide behind 11.7 and, hey, we're cool with the way things are. But now with the opportunity to really invest more and go all in, I think it's going to become clearer who believes that they can do it, who wants to do it, and who's okay just kind of having a sport and having a good time and being, competitive and calling it a day. So I think Nebraska's in that group. There's probably 3 or 4 others for sure, but I think there's probably a good chunk of the league as well. And we know that who those teams are that are going to be cool with where they are, or their administrations won't feel like they can fund the sport.
I like that you brought that up, Evan. We'll finish with this one here. I just assumed that schools were going to make that determination individually on a case-by-case basis, maybe even year to year. Do you think it would be prudent for Tony Petitti, if he truly wants to lean into his baseball background, to flex his muscle as commissioner and say, we want to improve as a league? If you want to play baseball in this conference, you have to offer 20 of the 34 available scholarships, something like that? Or do you think that since he's so new, he's going to ease into it, and then maybe down the road that comes, he leaves it up to the schools? What do you think is the right move for Commissioner Petitti?
It's tough if you're in that position to mandate that a school spend more. I think what you have to do is not put a limit on it. If you're putting a limit on it, you're saying that you don't feel like your league can compete at the highest level, because you can bet the SEC and the ACC and probably some other conferences or some other schools are going to go all in. You look at some smaller schools. What about a team like a Dallas Baptist or Eastern Carolina or some of these?
Indiana State.
Yeah, exactly. These smaller conference schools that have succeeded at baseball and say, hey, we have kind of a niche here. Let's build on that. Like those teams, I think will get stronger in a lot of ways too. So I think, if you put a limit on it as a Big Ten, you're officially acknowledging that you're a mid-major in college baseball. So I don't think you can do that. I think you have to leave it open-ended for the schools to invest as they will. The challenge, of course, there is again, if you have 5 or 6 schools going all in or close to all in, and you've got half of your teams that are going to stay where they are at 11 or 12 scholarships, that doesn't do a lot for competitive balance, league drama, things of that nature. So I guess if it were me, I think you let it play out somewhat freely for the first couple of years and see how it goes. And if you have to, mandate something from there in order to kind of bring these schools closer together from a competitive standpoint, then I guess I would do it then.
Fair enough. That's Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald, our guest, 2:30 on Wednesdays here during On the Block. Find him on Twitter. Follow him right before football season here at Evan Bland, OWH on Twitter. Make sure you subscribe to the Omaha World Herald as well to check out his work. Evan, as always, appreciate your time. We'll do it again next week.
Appreciate you guys. See ya.
Evan joined us on our VIP line, brought to you by Aloe Fiber, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local parts. Stricky, let me just throw that question to you, that last one that Evan and I talked about a little bit there. You're Commissioner Tony Petitti. You have a baseball background, and your league isn't taken very seriously. You'll get a few teams into the NCAA tournament. Should baseball be a front burner issue for Tony Petitti, or can he allow to let baseball keep going kind of where it's at for the next couple years, see how it goes in the new system, and then that's the time to take action?
I don't think you want to fall too far behind, right?
Mm-hmm.
Other teams, other conferences are only going to get better. I think you want to position yourself potentially as a super conference that you're putting yourself in position to be in competition, obviously, with the SEC, who's been so dominant over the course of this time. It depends on what your plans are, I think, too. I think if you're looking down road and you're a visionary of where you want the conference to be, I think you're already starting that progression and getting ahead of it in some ways. You've done it with the media rights. You've already put yourself in a great position. I think you want to put an onus on it. I think if you have a desire to add, I think you want to be looking. I think you want to be enticing for those other teams and other programs that are strong, especially in other conferences, that you make yourself to have a draw across the board. And I think that's kind of the way that you'd want to look at it. I mean, you're going to bring some in with UCLA, USC, and so forth.
Oregon super regional team.
You're gonna bring some of them. So if you intend to continue to expand, do more, you want to provide an avenue for those that really have a desire in that space to want to be a part of your conference.
So what you're saying is, in the carrot versus stick debate, offer the carrot first.
I mean, I think you want to put an onus on it. I'm just saying, I don't think you want to allow too much time to pass. I understand waiting a couple years, trying to put something in place, but I don't think you want to just kind of mosey into it, or just kind of glide into it. You want to position yourself as a conference of innovation, a conference of thinking outside of the box and wanting more, not just for your top 2 brands. You really you want to make it a holistic type of program, like
an 18-team deal.
Yeah, you really want to look at everybody, because everybody's not going to be good at it. But could it inspire like a Purdue to want to get better in maybe baseball? Could it inspire
a Michigan State, a Penn State?
Can it inspire them to want to be better across the board? Yeah, that's all.
Interesting thoughts. I think I tend to agree with you there. We're going to go to break. When we get back, we will be back on the radio dial. Royals just wrapped up a 4-1 win over the Minnesota Twins. Hour 2 going to be heavy into football as well. We'll start off with, could Nebraska fans survive another 8 one-possession games? Kelly Ford, we've used a couple of his power rankings throughout the offseason here, put together another list. We'll go through that, how many one-possession games teams are projected to play. And then a couple NFL headlines. J.J. McCarthy out for the year. Jordan Addison carted off. And the NFL's top 25 players under 25 years old. How would the Young Bucks fare against the wily veterans in a hypothetical game? All that and more as we move into hour 2 of On the Block, brought to you by Nebco.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, We're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today.
Liberty Law Group is committed to the defense of liberty for those accused and the pursuit of justice for those injured. Liberty Law Group's relentless trial attorneys specialize in criminal defense and personal injury law. Navigating the legal system can be stressful, overwhelming, and full of uncertainty. We believe in treating every client with respect, compassion, and understanding. When you're in need of legal assistance, trust Liberty Law Group to fight for you. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. That's 877-42-LIBERTY.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. And Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Ready to add a dash of Southern flavor to your week? At Wings and Rings, their brand new Southern fried wings have arrived for a limited time. Indulge in the irresistible goodness of large, traditional bone-in wings coated in a crispy beer batter and fried to perfection. Try them with hot honey or any other sauces. And for those busy summer days coming up, look no further than their Southern Fried Wings Family Bundle. Wings and Rings, 2 Lincoln locations on O Street or Village Lane.
Become part of the Landmark difference today. Landmark Implement, your John Deere dealer, is currently hiring in our parts departments. As a member of our team, you'll assist customers in finding the right parts for their equipment, manage inventory, and collaborate with sales and service. Whether you're a seasoned professional or just starting out, there's a place for you at our dealership. Apply today and grow your career with Landmark Implement, where your skills make a difference in the ag community every day. See full details online at landmark.careers.
IT issues wreaking havoc on your day? It's time to hire the experts. It's time to hire Hamilton. When it comes to your business, you don't have time to worry about network security, data backup, and protection, or support when devices slow down or stop working. At Hamilton, we ensure that your technology is up to speed and works as hard as you do. Don't let IT issues slow you down. You deserve better. Hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
MWR is dedicated to building attractive, affordable steel buildings that exceed your expectations. From commercial or residential to agricultural storage, steel buildings are cost-effective, attractive, and versatile. Plus, they're a lasting investment and an ideal choice. MWR uses Sentinel Building Systems out of Albion and can service you all over the state and region. If you have interest in a steel building, post frame building, or fencing, give MWR a call today at 402-980-5273 or go to mwrbuildingandfence.com.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $25.60 per hour, which grows to $30.12 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $34.51 per hour with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates with increased bonuses and vacations for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Your sprinklers are watering the street or flooding your backyard. If you're on a list that doesn't exist, it's time for Judson Irrigation. At Judson Irrigation, Lee or Lacey or Judson will make an appointment. You pick the time and they'll be there to fix your sprinkler system. Now that's service, a dying art these days.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
You already know that Select Plumbing takes care of all your plumbing needs. including water heaters, faucet repairs, leaks, drips, sump pumps, and more. Now, they're able to help you with your heating and air conditioning as well. Select Plumbing has recently expanded into residential heating and air, and they're excited to bring this new service to their complete list of plumbing services. Call to book an appointment today at 402-560-6197 or go to selectplumbinginc.com, serving Lincoln, Seward, Milford, and the surrounding areas.
Are you tired of the same old entertainment options? How about something that's truly fun for both kids and adults? Nebraska Knockerball, the new place to go for your private and corporate parties. Step inside one of their inflatable spears and let out stress in a healthy form of exercise. Or try the human foosball, foot darts, yard pong, giant beer pong, basketball Connect 4, and much more. Nebraska Knockerball, specializing in physical, engaging fun. Call Nebraska Knockerball today at 402-460-8724 to learn more or book a reservation now.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three. And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Presented by NIPCO. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
You were asked who the biggest troublemaker was at 93.7 The Ticket during the crossover, and I think our answer is Bill and Bennett.
You think so?
After how Austin did Stricky the other day during the shootout, I found myself rooting for the Twins today just to make Austin mad, but it didn't help.
No.
Your dad
Bill
come
and Bennett's
right, it
the
didn't
main-
help.
He's the main man.
Yeah, the main troublemaker, man.
No, see, I gave you the benefit of the doubt and put the onus on the super hater who was Tricky Nicky. And you're gonna throw it at my boy Bill and Bennett after you shanked me and I still gave you all the love and credit. You still shanking me.
I thought we had moved on. I thought we were cool. And now here's Bill and Bennett stirring it up.
No, Bill and Bennett's telling facts.
Not a single
WTF
fact
tomorrow
in that
night,
text.
6-7.
Not a single fact anywhere to be found in that text.
Oh, Bill and Bennett, we love you.
In case you missed it.
If he doesn't, I still do.
Hey, I'm not like mad. It's just like, come on, man. I thought we were good. I thought we were cool.
Yeah,
I thought we'd moved on.
We've moved on. It's over with.
But to that point, Kansas City now is a game and a half back of the Minnesota Twins in the American League Central, sitting in third place. Lucas Erceg gets the save trade deadline acquisition. Bobby Witt Jr. homers for the Royals. You have Kyle Isbell with an RBI, Paul DeYoung a solo home run, and then Vinny Pasquantino with an RBI double. Only damage from the Twins, a solo home run from Carlos Santana, former Royal, in fact, and former Indian, now Guardian, at one point off Cole Reagans in the fourth inning. So yeah, Kansas City game and a half back of the Twins in the AL Central. They'll take on, I think it's the Reds coming up next for the Royals. You hear all of that right here on these very airwaves at 93.7 The Ticket. Big thanks to Nebco for sponsoring our show. Appreciate them. Constructors, Ready Mix Concrete, both hiring. ConstructorsLincoln.com, ReadyMixConcrete.com, NebcoInc.com to learn more.
Question.
Answer.
93.7 The Ticket. Go there on Twitter. You can go Strick20 as well, and Austin at Austin _Orman. You can go there and follow us, but you can follow 93.7 The Ticket, and there is a vote campaign going on.
There sure is.
It's the vote campaign is, should Strick get credit? Question. Or is Austin Orman _Orman correct for standing his ground? Question. Stricky is leading the votes.
Rigged.
Keep on voting. Just go 93.7 The Ticket. Become a follower there and vote. And vote your conscience.
Y'all wild.
Vote your heart. But we know what it is.
Who did you pay?
We know who it is.
Who did you pay?
I'm just saying.
Who did you pay?
There's 20 hours left.
Who did you pay?
I didn't.
Who did you pay? Who did you give the stricken
My
to?
name is not. I'm not gonna say it. But if you know, you know. I'm not paying for followers.
I'm not saying paying for
paying
followers.
for
You're
voters.
paying for voters.
I'm not paying
Voter
for voters.
fraud.
I'm not doing it because
Voter fraud.
that is going on out here in the space, but I'm not the one.
There's no other way you're winning this poll.
That's a fact.
It is the fact that there's no other way you're winning this poll.
That's the fact that I'm winning because
that there's no other way that you're winning is the fact.
Okay, we're gonna move on.
I thought we had moved on, and then we got dragged right back into this.
What's the topic of the day? What's going on now, man? I think this is a good one. I like this one. I'm looking forward to this one. This is interesting.
Projected one-possession regular season games in college football. This is from Kelly Ford at KFord Ratings on Twitter. Posting really interesting stuff here, Strick. Yeah. And most teams play 12 regular season games now, we know. Army and Navy are both playing 11. Nevada's playing 13 this year. But it's really interesting to see these projections broken down like this in terms of projected one-possession regular season games. The most projected one-possession regular season games.
Can you believe it?
The Buffs.
The Buffs.
Colorado. You buying that?
This situation with Colorado, there's a lot. I mean, basically, I am one to put things out into the universe, into the space, into a belief in God working things out for my good to those who believe. I'm a connoisseur of that. Deion Sanders has put it out there. I mean, he went on boldly and predicted, basically calling everybody out and saying, they're garbage. We'll see them in the playoffs if they get there. I said, I wait a minute. That's bold. That's a huge turnaround. You get this prediction now. So this can go one of two ways. It can be real ugly, or you're going to be, you called it. Like that's like a baseball player stepping up. We've seen those days. That's like a baseball stepping up and calling a shot.
Babe Ruth.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's like Larry Bird stepping up, and we're gonna have to clip this. This could be.
Larry called a shot.
Larry Bird
once a week.
Basically, like there was just a story out recently, and I'm gonna get back on track, I promise. But there's a story out recently where Larry Bird, they were playing the college guys, and this college team consisted of and it wasn't even college, maybe it was younger guys, but it was like Grant Hill, Chris Webber,
like an all-star kind of team.
Yeah, it was like Chris Webber. They're all young NBA guys, and Mashburn, and they're telling this story. Mega Mash. They're telling this story about how they came in, flew out to a certain location. They were going to play against the Dream Team, and they were beating the brakes off of them. Media's about to come in. They turn off the score, and they said they were killing them. Next day, Rodney Rogers, who I play with, Rodney, man, love him. He was paralyzed from the neck down. I love the guy with all my heart. Played with him in Boston. Great guy. Rodney says, he's talking crazy, and says, you ain't made a shot since 90 or since the 80s or something, right? Or you haven't did something, he said. I can't remember. And during the next game, they came out, and all of them tell the story. They couldn't even get the ball over half court. Chris Webber said, this is the first time that I have never been in a scrimmage where I've never scored a point. We have never scored a point as a team. He says and so when they were talking this talk, Magic heard it. And Magic didn't say nothing. He didn't put it on blast. He just told Larry quietly the next day. And they showed up, and Larry goes to him and is like, every time he got the ball, matter of fact, Magic was feeding him. And Larry was like, every time he got it, I'm going right 2 dribbles, and I'm dotting your eyes, basically. Mm-hmm. I'm going right, cross, spin, and I'm shooting right here. And he did it. And he was killing him. Called his shot, and they beat the brakes off him. Then he kills him for like 7-8 buckets, I guess. I don't know how many it was. Goes over, lays down, because I remember he had back issues.
Yeah.
Lays down and says to him something like, now do you remember me scoring 80 or scoring in the 80s or something like that? You gotta love Larry, man.
Larry legend.
It's gonna go one of two ways. Either he called his shot or he's gonna look like a total buster.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Other teams predicted with a lot of one-possession games. East Carolina, who's kind of in the Nebraska boat of a lot of turnovers. If that evens out, that's probably a bowl team. Florida Atlantic, and everything going on down there. West Virginia, kind of a surprise team last year. Neil Brown was on the hot seat, had a pretty good year. Can they do it again? Rutgers, Strick, 9 one-possession games for them projected to have. Coastal and Wyoming. And then we get to the group with 8 one-score games. Louisiana, TCU, USC. I tend to think USC's one-possession games will be in the 40s, 30s, or 40s, whereas Rutgers might be in the 20s to maybe even the teens. You get
that's what's dangerous about them.
If they can impose their style.
If they can impose it, they can be dangerous. Like they're gonna probably still be in that 500 range, but they'll probably win their share too. That's what's scary about them, and this is why you've got to go and beat them. You know, don't think that just because you got to go out and play Rutgers they're dangerous, man.
They're tough.
They're tough. They're just tough. Yeah.
Florida in this tier,
I don't know
the number one toughest strength of schedule.
I don't know about
you. Ain't buying?
Nah, I don't think they're that good for one possession games of that many.
Can they be good enough to keep games close, kind of like Nebraska has been? That's really the question.
See, I'm just not buying it. I'm not buying it.
You think Florida's like bad?
I just don't think that they're Florida Volt, and I don't think defensively. I think their offense is mediocre, and I think their defense is shaky. So, yeah, they will in some – I think a lot of their games that may be close probably will be at home. I don't think their road games will be – and I could be wrong, but that's kind of how I view them.
And, of course, Nebraska's in this tier, Strick.
Yeah,
projected to have 8 one-possession games. We've been over the numbers so many times about how bad the record is in one-possession games, dating back to 2017, typically 2018 sometimes, but even 2015.
Yeah.
Nebraska lost some one-score games there. Text line 402-464-5685. If I tell you Nebraska football plays 8 one-possession games this year, what's your reaction? You know, how many Tums are you taking? Do you think that if Nebraska plays 8 one-possession games, that's 8 losses? Do you think they win 3 of the 8? Can they get 4 of the 8? Do they flip the script? What does that look like? What's your reaction, Strick? If Nebraska plays 8 one-possession games this year, do you think they're bowl eligible or not?
So, Austin, you and I have the privilege of doing a lot of stuff during the winter. Not necessarily football-driven, but definitely basketball-driven.
Mm-hmm.
We had some heart attack moments. Early on, watching this whole thing, Northwestern game, like, I mean, we were finally able to get through, I think, as we got later in the Big Ten season to where we felt different, that they were different. Like, I think the build up to that, we were like, here we go again. When teams would make these runs and they just kept proving they could stop it and they would be able to push it or win it out or do something to win. We've yet to see that for Nebraska football. So for me, I don't know if I can take another year of going through that by way of, I dealt with it last year also with the football. It was a carryover. It was too many heart attack type moments of my heart beating fast and like, oh my gosh, when's the next error going to happen? When is the next fumble? When is it? Like, I want to break through that, and I'm hoping we don't have those things early in the season to where I'm like, oh gosh, here we go again. So that's what I'm hoping for. I don't know if I can take it.
Let's go through the schedule here. UTEP, one possession game or no?
I mean, that's the thing. We've had troubles with teams like that before. You know what I'm saying?
Yes or no?
Troy's, Buffalo's,
Northern Illinois.
You know what I mean? Georgia Southerns.
North Dakotas, McNeese States.
Let me turn it back. Is this team mature enough? Is this staff coaching good enough to get these guys mentally prepared to execute without fumbles and turnovers? Because that's how you get in these type of games.
Mm-hmm.
It's these type. Do you believe that this team is there? You're still dealing with a young team. You got a young quarterback. You've got additions to the coordinator room other than the defense. What do you think?
I don't know. I hope so.
That's what I'm saying.
I hope so.
I just don't know. But we're going through the list. I'm going to say I think they get by that one.
One possession or two possessions?
I think
more?
they're two possessions. Yeah, I think it's more.
Colorado, one possession or blowout?
One possession.
Okay. Northern Iowa.
I think they could get by that one.
Okay. Illinois.
Where?
Lincoln.
Revenge is in effect. I think they get by that one.
Okay.
Maybe 10 points. That's not a one possession. 10 points. I think they could win by 10.
Okay. Next on the schedule is on the road at Purdue. Oh, Illinois is a Friday night, by the way, in Lincoln.
I still think they can win by more than 10.
Okay. Then Purdue on the road.
I think they're just too bad. I think Purdue's just bad. So, yeah, I think they get by.
Okay. Then after Purdue, you have, so I'm trying to tweet this out, keep a running list here. Rutgers in Lincoln.
I'm gonna say that's a tough one.
Okay.
One possession.
After Rutgers, you get your first bye week. One possession or blowout. Kidding. Nebraska at Indiana on October 19th.
At Indiana?
At Indiana. Off a bye week.
I think they can more than one possession that one.
On the road at Ohio State.
I'm gonna say one possession.
Heck yeah.
I'm gonna say
fire
one
me up,
possession.
Stricky. You host UCLA.
Because I've seen them do it before.
You have?
I've seen them do it against Michigan. I've seen them. I think they're better.
Okay.
I think by having it that late, I think they're capable. I'm still unsure and uncertain. You're not of Ohio State, so I'm going to say one possession. Who else?
Then you have UCLA in Lincoln.
One possession.
After that, you have another bye week, and then you go to USC, also coming off a bye week.
One possession.
One possession. Wisconsin comes to Lincoln.
They need revenge. They beat them.
Okay, but is it one possession or more?
More.
More? Okay, and then Black Friday in Iowa City.
One possession.
One possession. Let me get all these down just to make sure.
I mean, the last 3 years have been one possessions with Iowa, right?
Well, dating back like basically
like 3,
forever.
4. Yeah, it's always so. Yeah, I'm definitely going to say that.
Okay, I think I almost have all these down, and we'll make sure that I have the right answers here. Ohio State, UCLA, with USC, Wisconsin, Iowa. Okay, so you said yes to Ohio State. You said no to UCLA. Blowout or close? UCLA blowout or close?
And it's at UCLA, right?
It is in Lincoln.
I think they beat them. But I think they
blowout.
Not a blowout, but I think
9 or more points.
Yeah.
Okay. USC, one possession or blowout?
I say one possession.
Okay. Wisconsin, no. And Iowa, yes.
Yeah.
One possession. Okay. So you have Nebraska's one possession games as Colorado. Did you say yes or no to Purdue?
I think we beat Purdue bad.
Okay. You have Nebraska one possession games then against Colorado, Rutgers, Ohio State, USC, and Iowa.
That's what I have 5.
How many of those do you think Nebraska wins? 2 and 3 would be an improvement in close games if Nebraska played 5. 2 and 3 would be an improvement.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna say they win 4 or 5.
Strick, you know what you're saying, right?
I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt this year. I've normally been more toward, because last year I said I think I said they would go. I want to say if I was correct, I think I said either 6-6 or 7-5, and they were on track for that.
They were on track for better,
right?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt that I think they win those close games this year, because for me, and I'm just tracking history.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a sine wave, right?
Strick doing cake stands at the Kool-Aid bar. Craig.
I mean, I'm you know, a lot of y'all killed me about basketball last year too, and guess what?
Strick, you was right.
I was right. I still want to see them, but I'm just, and again, I'm only going on trend.
Mm-hmm.
When we got to campus, Nebraska was not on an upswing, basketball-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Our basketball program was rolling.
Mm-hmm.
Football, for some reason, in history that I've noticed, whenever basketball kind of trends upward, it's like the football team's like, wait a minute, hold on. Like, bump that. Y'all ain't gonna rule campus type of deal, right? And they boom, they took off and super exceeded. I'm just gonna believe in what that last model was that I've seen and observed. And that's all I'm going with. I don't have nothing really else to go with. There's not much that I can see at this point. I'm just gonna go with the trend.
You mentioned
basketball on the upswing. They were able to overcome it. I just believe football will follow.
Does Nebraska need to start winning close games to take
Yes.
the next step, or does Nebraska need to find itself winning easy and figure out how to win big before it learns how to win close?
I think they need to. The best way to grow is to be in the fire, in the adversity, to find out what type of metal you're built of. Right? Like I've talked about this, being a military son. They don't normally just send you right into war. They don't just say, "Hey, sign up. Oh, get your thing, learn how to, whatever, and boom, they send you out." No. Especially special teams. We're hoping that Nebraska is going to become special and become a special program. I've seen some of you guys posting something on the last show. They posted something about how bad NIL is compared to others. 60 million or so for Ohio State, like scratching 10 or something for Nebraska, right? Bad. You hope, and I think it's bad because of what we've seen. People they don't like to buy into a winner or a loser.
A loser, right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
They need this in order to turn the tables and get people to want to buy into the program. So I think there's more at stake, and that's what they need to do. So they need this special forces, special units. They put them out and make them survive. They put them into these situations, and they have to navigate, and they have to not sleep for 24 hours. And there's people stalking them, and they're having to go through all of these adverse situations to build metal so that they can win when it's needed and it's counted on. I think that's what they have to do. I think we've seen this before. Remember the old Nebraska teams that got off to these 7-0 starts, and they would be blowing people out, and the next thing they know, an Ohio State shows up, or another team that I think one of the years they went in and played Wisconsin and got beat like 60 something to 6 or something. It was crazy, and their hearts, and they were never the same.
Let's go back to that 2016 team here real quick. The one that started out 7-0, finished 2-4.
Yeah.
Beat Fresno State by 33, Wyoming by 35, beat Oregon by a field goal, Northwestern by 11, Illinois by 15, Indiana by 5, and Purdue by 13. Lose by 6 to Wisconsin, 62-3 to Ohio State in back-to-back road games. Win a close game over Minnesota, 24-17, beat Maryland 28-7, then lose 40-10 and 38-24 to Iowa. I get what you're saying. I like it. I think there's just as much credence to the other side of blow UTEP out of the water. You know, I think Colorado's going to be a close game, but don't mess around with Northern Iowa. When you get into the start of the Big Ten schedule, then Illinois, it's going to be tough to push that to a 2-possession win, but it's not off the table, right? You probably should have done, I think you did that or got close last year. the day my kid was born, I wasn't paying full attention to the game. Purdue probably be pretty bad. Win that one big. Rutgers, you're at home. Maybe it takes a score late to push it to double digits. Just find a way to win the game.
Yeah.
In Indiana, just after the halfway point of the year with the first-year head coach, I guess we'll see. But then from there, that's where I think you run out of double-digit win opportunities. Ohio State, you're not beaten by double digits. UCLA, maybe, depending on where they're at under a first-year head coach. USC, I don't think you beat them by double digits. Wisconsin would take a lot going right, and Iowa, probably not. So I would almost rather see Nebraska get some blowout wins early and be able to use that as the runway, right? To be confident and go into it. The example I'll go back to last year's Eagles team. They faded like paper tigers down the stretch, but they started 10-1. Would have been better for 11-1, whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
So
I think you're right. 10-1.
They were really good to start the year.
Yeah.
We could all kind of
I think you're right,
foresee
10-1.
the downfall coming to some degree.
Mhm.
And maybe that's the case with Nebraska here. But I would rather have a confident team. And I think big wins, blowout wins with a young team like this, there is a risk that, they get overconfident and then, they don't focus as hard. They don't work as hard. I don't think Nebraska is quite that young. I think it has enough veteran, older guys that need to experience a little bit of catharsis, right? Let it all out, run buck wild over some sad sack opponent that makes you feel good about yourself, and let that confidence build through the first 6 or 7 weeks of the year.
Yeah.
Where if you beat Colorado in a close game, great. You eke one out over Illinois or Rutgers, great. If you can mix the two, right, win enough close games early, but get enough confidence from saying, we have another gear, we have another level, we don't have to get stuck in the mud with everyone we play, I think that's beneficial to Nebraska as well.
I don't disagree. I actually would prefer that it happened that way. I prefer that it would happen the way that I kind of laid it out on my what you said, close win margin. I think you can learn lessons with a close win against Colorado and blow everybody else out and then come back. And even if you lost to Ohio State, but if you can be in the fight, like even if you lost by 2 touchdowns, but it wasn't like 35-14.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you were able to kind of, if it was like 28-24, 21, even 21,
mm-hmm.
like that for me is a win on the road.
Oh yeah.
Right. I mean, for real, that would be that's a trend. That's a trend to the better for me.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't lose it. Like you're 28-21 and you're driving and you just came up short. Just wasn't able to make the catch, or you just wasn't able to make it happen. I mean, you're not happy with it. Of course, you're still disappointed, but I'm saying you're feeling not bad.
Not as bad.
Yeah. It's not bad as if you went up there and got beat 62-7 or 3, right?
Yeah.
That'd be a different feeling.
I feel. Man named Ashley asks, Strick, are you saying Nebraska goes 11-1?
I don't know if I said that.
Kind of what you said. You didn't give the record prediction, but based on...
I didn't give the record position. A close game to me could be a close loss.
But you said Nebraska wins 4 of the 5 close games. So if Nebraska wins 4 of the 5 one-possession games, how many blowouts did they lose? They have to lose a lot of blowouts. And if you're going to win that many close games and lose that many blowouts, that's a very strange year.
Well, I'm still believing in a special year. I think they missed out on special last year.
They did.
I'm believing for special. That's all.
If I ask you straight up, you don't say Nebraska goes 11-1, do you?
I don't think they go 11-1. I don't. I think they can win 9 games.
Okay. That's fine. That's fair.
I think that's possible. And that's not drinking Kool-Aid. They could have won 9 games last year.
It's on the table, which is still just kind of wild to imagine that Nebraska could have won 9 last year. Let's see here. We have Brad, thanks for chiming in. 85-57. Then you're back to Bo Pelini seasons, win close and get blown out. Bo had his fair share of blowout wins, especially in non-con, and there are some really bad conference teams. The problem was prime time for Bo's teams. They did get run out of the building far too often when it came to prime time, but they weren't winning every game. close necessarily. I think that's slightly revisionist history, but hey, for a couple years, if you tell me Nebraska's back at Bo Pelini level, sign me up for it. Thundernut Collins says 10-2, and he's been saying it since the schedule came out.
Well,
who are those losses, Thundernut Collins? Hit
us up. Want to know.
We'll get that from Thundernut Collins when we get back from break. We'll hit that, and then some NFL headlines. Are the Vikings trending toward the number one pick already with a couple key injuries? And who is the NFL's all under-25 team? How would they fare against the all over 25 team? We'll get into that and more here during On the Block.
Hey there, fellas. It's your girl, Jordan, with Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Let's talk commitment. And what better way to do that than with some shiny, sparkly jewelry? Am I right? Now, I'm not suggesting you have to rush, but if you're considering making a significant move, do your planning. We offer financing and payment plans. Lock down your selection with confidence. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine. Everyone should have a collection of something. For some, it's stamps or coins, expensive cars, or even watches. But for a lot of people, it's sports cards. And there's no better way to grow your collection than with the help of Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's first and only collector-first sports cards and memorabilia shop. Capital City Sports Cards connects collectors of all ages and demographics with unique collectibles sure to bring any collection to life, no matter the budget. Visit Capital City Sports Cards near 56th and Old Cheney or through their eBay storefront. Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's premier sports card and memorabilia store.
We strive to help people get into home ownership. That is the American dream. Having something that you can go home at night and say, this is mine, is very important. The great thing about Remington Homes is affordability.
Bob Benish of Aspen Builders, talking about their exciting new division, Remington Homes, which makes the home building process easier.
The exciting thing about a Remington home is you get to choose your floor plan from predetermined floor plans. We give you a lot of choices, and you couple that with our great lot selection in all different areas. People do not want to be married to their house payment. They want to get a nice house with nice finishes in a great area for an affordable price. And that's what Remington Homes are all about.
Home building is easier with a Remington home from Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at remingtonlincoln.com. remingtonlincoln.com.
MWR is dedicated to building attractive, affordable steel buildings that exceed your expectations. From commercial or residential to agricultural storage, steel buildings are cost-effective, attractive, and versatile. Plus, they're a lasting investment and an ideal choice. MWR uses Sentinel Building Systems out of Albion and can service you all over the state and region. If you have interest in a steel building, post frame building, or fencing, give MWR a call today at 402-980-5273 or go to mwrbuildingandfence.com. Ready to add a dash of Southern flavor to your week? At Wings and Rings, their brand new Southern fried wings have arrived for a limited time. Indulge in the irresistible goodness of large, traditional bone-in wings coated in a crispy beer batter and fried to perfection. Try them with hot honey or any other sauces. And for those busy summer days coming up, look no further than their Southern Fried Wings Family Bundle. Wings and Rings, 2 Lincoln locations on O Street or Village Lane.
Midwest Bank is proud to be your local community bank right here in Lincoln. This is Kim with Midwest Bank. We know there is more to your business than numbers and spreadsheets. For us at Midwest Bank, the people who make up a business matter most. We believe in getting to know you and your business and providing customized banking solutions that help protect your business and help it grow. Schedule a free consultation with us today. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Learn more at midwest.bank. Member FDIC.
Hey, it's Chad with Nutrition Authority. Enjoy internet-crushing prices at the back-to-school blowout. We're taking our better-than-internet prices and cutting them even deeper, bringing you the biggest sale of the season. Monday, August 12th through Saturday, August 17th, the back-to-school blowout is on at Nutrition Authority. For location info, check us out at mynutritionauthority.com.
Load up on meat and more this summer at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's specials through August 20th is buy 2 New York strips, get 2 free, limit of 4. Also, $2 off all nuts. Location at 84th and Havelock and 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and Truck Month is back. We have absolutely gigantic savings right now at Koppel. They are offering $12,500 off on select new pickups. That is not a mistake. You heard right. $12,500 off list price right now on select new pickups. Those discounted units, though, will not last long. These are all manager specials. You have to come in now, so hurry in down 144th Street or shop online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. Stock number G35609. 93 must trade.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled, high-end wine bar. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for wine, beer, spirits, and cigars. Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is On the Block, brought to you by Nebco. A couple things from the text line here. Thunder Not Colin said Nebraska would lose to Ohio State and then some random game they shouldn't lose, like Purdue. So Thunder Not Collins, you're also saying Nebraska could go 11-1. Oh, wild. Oh, wild. 8557 follows up and says, he was the one that said, then you're back to Bo Pelini seasons. Follows up saying, don't get me wrong, I'm much more okay with that compared to what Nebraska has been, building blocks back to greatness. My dad chimes in, I get both sides of the discussion, but winning blowouts gives the third and fourth teamers valuable game reps and build depth for later, too.
Like it.
Again, there's both sides of the equation.
Like it.
So, yeah, I think that's a good crossover question for DP here in a little bit. Jay Foreman might join us on the phone, but he is not in studio today or tomorrow. So I think we throw that one to DP here coming up in about 15 minutes here to cross it over. And yes, Brad, we do know that it's not video games. We do know that these are actual players playing the games, but at the same time, numbers are somewhat predictive, right? That's why I like what you're saying, Strick. You look at the history, you can't discount it. That's ingrained in the program to some degree. I get it. It's not the same team from year to year. It's never the same exact team from year to year. But at some point, you have to buy into this has been a trend for Nebraska for more than just one season. One season's not a trend. But you go back to 2017 and throughout coaching staffs, there are trends that I think would be smart to pay attention to when it comes to Nebraska in close games.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of a good analogy. Some of you guys have been to Vegas. Some of you guys go across the water and you play, right? Sometimes there are days when you're playing, just say you're sitting down and you're playing blackjack. And there are times when you're sitting at 20 and the freaking dealer will run a 5-card 21 on you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like it'll be something like a 4, a 3, and then they'll hit another 3, and then they'll hit like a 5, and then they'll hit a 6 on you, and you're like, wait a minute, like what's really going on? Like That's how Nebraska football, like that. You guys have all, if you have never been to Vegas and you've sat like at a table or you played craps or any game that you've played, usually the house wins. I mean, that's kind of the rule of thumb. But if you've ever been in that situation, you can understand how Nebraska fans feel when you're talking about these one possession games. That's how it feels, right?
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. There are times when it turns and you go on a run and you get back-to-back blackjacks. And then you all of a sudden you hit 20 and then they're busting like pause and they're busting like on all of their and you run off 6-7 games. Sometimes it turns like that.
Mm-hmm.
It can turn for the worse or it can turn for the better.
One possession games aren't usually this sticky one direction and the other for how bad Nebraska's been. If there's a team that's really good in close games one year, they're usually closer to 500 the next year, right? One possession games across sports even out in the long run.
Yes.
Now, Nebraska's in a really crappy spot, right? And that's why, say you're the house, right, Strick, where you win most of the time, you get a client that comes in and they go on a hot run of their own. It's frustrating in the moment. It's disappointing, but you can't lose sight of the bigger picture. And that's not easy right now. It's going to even out at some point for Nebraska. It sucks living through all the one possession losses and the heartbreak right now. But in the long run, in the aggregate, it will get better because it has always gotten better for every team.
And listen, let's just be real, right? I can pretty much assure that, and I know it's for sure because you guys were talking crazy. Y'all were talking real. Y'all act like y'all didn't memory hold that thing. Y'all was talking real grimy to me when I came back and I said I went down to practice a couple times and I said this team is different.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, say what you will, but I've seen them. And here you go. You've been
Kool-Aid.
You done ran through the wall like the Kool-Aid man. And you know, you're on it, Strick. What have you been smoking? What I mean, you guys said all kinds, and then all of a sudden you forgot.
How quickly they forget.
How quickly, right? It happens. Now, I haven't been down there probably like the captain or probably like Jay. I haven't been to the football side, so I'm not internal and looking at. So I'm watching it from afar, just like everybody else. But I can tell you this. I guarantee you that none of you on this line, on this stream, listening on the radio, thought that Missouri would be where they were last year.
No.
In the SEC. Things like that can happen.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The key is watching Missouri because they're sitting outside of the top 10. They're at 11 right now, to start the season.
They probably feel a little disrespected.
Right? But what I'm saying is the key is can you duplicate it?
Yeah.
But those type of situations happen all the time. Guess what? Liberty was 11-1, and I bet you half the country nobody thought. Then the year before that was Tulane. You know, these Cincinnati situations, you don't want to be the one-off type team,
right?
But at some point it shifts. There's something clicks. There's something that creates this unification or this bond or this unbreakable thing that no matter what's going on, we're going to fight to the end and we're going to win. At some point you start to believe.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns into what it seems to be like a one-off. And your job as a coach and as players and those that are coming, the younger ones, the freshmen, the red shirts that are coming to see it and say, we're never going to let what transpired happen again. It's not going to be on my watch.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you hope. Yeah, that's what you hope begins to come up through the ranks. And then your program begins to, take a trend and it doesn't go back to those 3 and 4 win. You don't want to get back. You just want to, even if you lose, in some years you might not win 10, 11 games, but you want to be still trending towards the top of that win column as opposed to 4 and 8 type Almost
that was
had to
close,
get
Ricky.
done.
That was close.
It was close.
Just for reference, though, some other teams that are around Nebraska, right? I mentioned USC projected to play 8 like Nebraska. Florida projected to play 8 one-possession games. Teams projected to play 7. One-year Big 12 favorites, Kansas State. LSU, a dark horse to make the college football playoff. People are high on Texas A&M. Oklahoma in its first year in the SEC. I'm less sold on that one. Oklahoma State, and again, another top half Big 12 team. Arizona, first year in a new league. Iowa's projected to play 7. Northwestern's projected to play 7. Iowa State, Maryland, all projected to play 7. At 6, you have Kansas, top 25 team. Virginia Tech, Tulane's been there, done that. Minnesota, Illinois, Michigan State, even Purdue, right? Michigan State and Purdue more projected toward the bottom of the conference. Even teams like that are projected to play close games. With 5, it's an interesting mix because like Florida State's a preseason top 15 team. They're projected with 5, the same as Indiana with a first year head coach. Same as UConn, right? Florida State and UConn are not the same program. You have Liberty projected to play 1 close game with Vanderbilt for completely different reasons. So this isn't the end all be all determining metric by any means. It's just interesting to look at. And I think, I hope you and I can agree on this, Strick, is that it's not going to be easy for anyone in college football. Georgia, Ohio State, Texas, Bama might make it look easy, but all these teams that are trying to climb up, the Kansas States, the Oklahoma States, USC in a new conference,
even Oklahoma
Rutgers
to
making
me.
the climb, Oklahoma.
Even Oklahoma to me.
Even these big name programs, it's not easy for. It is a grind in college football, maybe more so now than ever. So, yeah, Nebraska is projected to play 8 one-possession games. I don't think that's something worth complaining about because get used to it. You're probably going to see more and more close games in conferences that are set up the way they are. Embrace the grind, find a way to not just get through it, but thrive through it, and don't complain about close games. Just go win them.
That's it. That's it. Well stated. Well said. I don't need nothing else to say because I didn't spill all my guts trying to come up with the metaphors to fit what we're talking about. And I think I did the best I could in trying to paint a picture of what it looks like.
1255 says it doesn't even out. Every time you flip a coin, it's 50-50. Even if you have 7 tails in a row, the next flip is 50-50. Correct. I get that. I understand how probabilities work. I understand that it's either win or lose. It's either heads or tails. What I'm saying is in sports, in the long run, it's automatically 50-50. For every team that wins a close game, a team loses a close game. So it is by nature 50-50 when you look at the outcomes, right? But looking at outcomes is different than looking at projections, right? With how bad Nebraska's been in one-possession games, we're not just saying that it evens out to 50-50, right? There are some programs that are still below 500 in one-possession games, some that are way above 500 in one-possession games. But just due to the nature of sports, we see, pick a stat, pretty much pick a stat. Pick a type of game to win and a type of game to lose. You don't end up at extremes very often. We see in statistics and numbers across sports and even in real life, they tend to get closer to the middle, right? You think of a typical bell curve distribution. It's set up that way for a reason. Yeah, some shift may be stronger one way or another. Some have longer tails, shorter tails, fatter tails. But again, the majority of teams, the majority of these outcomes over a wide enough range will end up in the thickest part of the bell curve. That's what we're saying. So no, it's not a guarantee that Nebraska flips it around. But I think the numbers would bear out to my hypothesis that right now we're in a tail of the bell curve, probably the far left end with how bad it's been. Whereas other teams are maybe on the far right end with how good it's been, like Iowa, for example, right? Winning a lot of these close games, especially against Nebraska. But Nebraska didn't exactly blow Iowa out early on in the Big Ten years, right? There were some close games between the teams then that we didn't think as much about because Nebraska was winning. So yeah, maybe it's an overcorrection one way, but it's now closer to even in terms of one-possession games than it was when Nebraska first entered the conference, and closer than it seems right now with Nebraska on, still a losing string, if not a losing streak. So
there it is.
That's my point. Let's go to the crossover. Let's take a break. We'll welcome in DP, get his thoughts on what we've been talking about here in hour 2 to wrap up on the block. Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mixed Concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. Nebco offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they pay for CDL training. Apply today and start your new career with a $2,500 hiring bonus. From Nebco's beginning in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
Are you a healthy non-smoker? Solarion, one of the world's leading clinical research organizations, is seeking people like you, 19 to 64 years old with excess weight, to take part in a research study. You could earn up to $22,500 for participation. This study includes 1 10-night stay, 5 2-night stays, 1 1-night stay, and 17 returns. Learn more at helpresearch.com/dub or call 8662-13-2965.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
You already know that Select Plumbing takes care of all your plumbing needs, including water heaters, faucet repairs, leaks, drips, sump pumps, and more. Now, they're able to help you with your heating and air conditioning as well. Select Plumbing has recently expanded into residential heating and air, and they're excited to bring this new service to their complete list of plumbing services. Call to book an appointment today at 402-560-6197 or go to selectplumbinginc.com, serving Lincoln, Seward, Milford, and the surrounding areas. Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey there, fellas. It's your girl, Jordan, with Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Let's talk commitment. And what better way to do that than with some shiny, sparkly jewelry? Am I right? Now, I'm not suggesting you have to rush, but if you're considering making a significant move, do your planning. We offer financing and payment plans. Lock down your selection with confidence. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
Are you looking for a new spot to relax and unwind? The Post, located on the south side of the Telegraph District on the corner of 20th and N Street, is perfect for a group hangout or a relaxing evening. The Post has plenty of exciting events open to the public, like Whiskey Wednesday and poker tournaments on Sundays. Looking for a spot for a private event? Ask them about their indoor patio. The Post, located at 20th and N Street in Lincoln.
Bill Bush here for Hefty Seed Company, who wants you to know about their summer meeting on Wednesday, August 21st. You know how deeply I care about ag, so I'm locked into these topics for the meeting, including input costs for the 2025 growing season, weed control, fertility, seed traits, new varieties, herbicide, and crop protection pricing, and all industry news. RSVP today, heftyseed.com/store meetings, or call 402-646-2040. It's the Hefty Agronomy Meeting at Harvest Hall at Seward County Fairground on Wednesday, August 21st from 1 to 2:30 with lunch at 12:30. Free lunch. Don't miss it.
Clothes dryer not drying like it should? Could be your dryer vent. Call Bryant for a professional cleaning. 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
Riddles Jewelry is excited to be celebrating 65 years. 65 years of so many incredible memories celebrating with each of your special moments. In celebration of the 65th Riddles Jewelry anniversary, we will be offering up to 40% off all engagement rings and all diamond fashion jewelry. The excitement doesn't stop there. Riddles Jewelry is also offering 18 months, 0% interest and $0 down financing on all qualifying purchases. Riddles Jewelry has always been known for incredible customer service, one of the largest selections of engagement rings, and don't forget about the on-site jeweler. Come celebrate with us at Riddle's Jewelry, your one-stop diamond shop with exclusive Levian jewelry, Pandora Charm jewelry, and more. All at Riddle's inside Gateway Mall.
The weather is hot, the kids are out of school, and you're on your way to the lake and summer road trips. Are you getting to your vacation spot comfortably, or is your car letting you down? Mullen Motors Lot is full of great vehicles to take home, so you don't have to worry about your current car barely surviving another road trip. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Layton and find your next ride for summer road trips and beyond. Mullen Motors.
No tag-ons, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back one final time here during On the Block, brought to you by Nebco, Austin Norman, Eric Strickland, and then all the way around the horn, Boss Man DP. Welcome in, DP.
What it do?
Talking college football. A lot of college football here in hour number 2. Some more preseason projections came out that had Nebraska projected to play 8 one-possession games. How's your ticker feeling after 8 one-possession games after Black Friday for Nebraska?
Same.
Business as usual?
Same. Hey, we doing different? You added one more hope, one more hope. Really, the result is what will matter. We fully expect one possession games. Okay. So what do? Then the hope is that you don't break my heart 7 times.
Right.
Like win one of them and let it be 7 in the Big Ten Conference. Please don't let any of those be in those early non-cons where I'm supposed to coast through. Remember,
Colorado one possession or not?
I would love for it to be. I know that on national TV, it being a one possession win, setting off a Saturday night like we haven't seen in Lincoln, Nebraska in forever, with a game-winning field goal or a Dylan Raiola bomb. He throws a dart to beat, the terrible Buffaloes, and then sending downtown Haymarket into a frenzy, leading to a 6-0 record, right? Even after one more, one possession win against Illinois. Like, okay, if that's the plan, so I'll speak that into existence. Give me that. That a one possession win, a blowout of UTEP. You put up a 50 burger. We buy all the way in. We douse our faces in Kool-Aid. Colorado comes to town. You get a one possession win.
Just find a way.
Again, don't care. Right? I don't care. Let me have that. Then you've got another non-con that you work in. Again, you find some depth. You try to get out of there injury free. Week 4. I think the letdown puts you into a one possession game. Okay, cool. One of the next 2 of those. And then you face the Buckeyes. Not one possession, probably not. Back into the schedule, another win, another one possession. Then you face some monsters. And if you tell me that you have one possession wins in the final 2 weeks against Wisconsin and Iowa, my heart will take those 8 close one possession games because 7 of them will end in a positive light and we can go to a bowl game.
They were looking at me crazy, 4-1.
Well, I'm in it.
I'm just saying I'm just
okay
more optimistic.
Yeah, I'm okay if it's one loss, one possession in that. I don't want it to be against Colorado because, quite frankly, people here would lose their minds.
More than normal.
Right. They would lose their minds if that's a one loss. How dare you, the nerve? So I'm just going to ask that it not be that one, that's a one possession win. I think we would all rather have a one possession win against Colorado and a one possession loss against somebody in the Big Ten that was kind of a 50-50 ball anyway. Mm-hmm. Please don't let it be Northwestern.
They're not on the schedule. So
I know. That was why I said it. I was going to go through the list of teams they're not going to play, so at least we know that's not going to be.
Minnesota. You're not putting no mojo out there,
right? I'm not going to speak Maryland. That into the world, right? Give me those that at least I can be on steady footing there. So 8 one possession games. Okay.
Does the program need what would be better for the program? To learn to win close games first, or to win some blowouts, as in 9 points or more? Would that build more confidence for this team specifically than winning close games?
A quality program does what it's supposed to do, no matter when they're supposed to do it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're supposed to blow out UTEP, blow them out. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you 27 and 28 and a half points better than UTEP? Okay, then do that. Are you supposed to win a 1-possession game against Colorado at home at night? Then do that. I'm cool with that. If you're telling me that a team that's in the top 35 faces this schedule, that 8 wins comes out of it because 8 of those are going to be 1 possession and you figure it out, then do that. Like, I don't get caught up in the far-reaching details. If Strick beats me 1-on-1 in a game of 11, he beats me 10-1, 11-1. That's what he was supposed to do. Don't take credit for don't take credit for you did what you were supposed to do. But do that. Strick don't care if he plays Amon and beats him 11-8. He don't care. It's what I'm supposed to win.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, do that. That's what you want from Nebraska football. I'm tired of you playing down and playing beneath. I would love the aspiration that we get to think of them playing up and winning tight games. Tight game wins are an accumulation of you making smart decisions with smart talent in those blowout games. Right? You're just trying to find one additional peg to fill.
Make one additional play.
Right? One additional thing, right? Maybe I find a defensive back in the 3D who can cover a route that I can inject him into a space in the red zone against Colorado against their nickel receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I'm going to learn. You know what? Maybe I can send Buddha on a twist and he'll get home and get a sack, scoop, and score. And I'll see that against UTEP so I can call it against Colorado and shake up Shador because I've now got another defender who's playing out of line.
That's all that Colorado did against TSU.
Yeah.
Or TCU, I mean,
yeah.
Against TCU. They just made great players made great plays in order to allow them to win. You just want that to happen more times than not for Nebraska.
Don't put it on the ground.
Right.
Learn how to not turn it over.
Yep. Learn
how not to make fatal mistakes on defense. To not cough up on special teams. Make makeable field goals. Like, do that. And if you do those things against UTEP, it gives you a better chance to do those things against Colorado. They're the same.
That's all interesting to me because I think you can then go back through Nebraska's 1-possession games and argue that relative to outside expectations, not fan expectations, right? Fan expectations are to win every game that Nebraska's better and find a way.
Mm-hmm.
But Nebraska's played some much better Iowa teams to 1 possession. That's playing up and it's playing down, right? Because you could have buried those teams
Should
sooner.
have won.
Could have, should have, would have, whatever you want to say.
Uh-huh.
There are plenty of times that Nebraska's allowed what we would consider inferior opponents to hang around.
Yep.
And there are times that Nebraska has played to expectations. It's a 1-possession game. And that's where Strick and I left off last segment, is that if Nebraska is going to get to 6 wins and beyond, it's not going to be easy. Fans can't look at, you're projected to play 8 one-score losses, be still my beating heart. It's college football. It's the Big Ten. It's tough. It's not going to be a cakewalk for this Nebraska team. So get used to the close game.
Well, if you don't lose to a non-con at home, you're in a better position to make plays against the Iowa team.
Right.
Like the scars, the death by 1,000 paper cuts is why you lose to Iowa. Right. That's why you can't finish that play. That's why you can't finish at Michigan. You had Michigan here on the road.
Yeah.
And you couldn't finish because you hadn't eliminated basic bumblehead plays.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You're asking players to be too great when you could have, you know what? Give it to the running back downhill and let him make the play. Adrian doesn't feel like he has to be Superman, and he doesn't try to make a play that
can't be made.
We don't need you to make that play. But that's the accumulation of a lot of moments prior to that, and then that shows up later against Iowa. Like literally, we went, "Oh, here we go. Oh, here we go. Watch this, and here it comes." So the accumulation of knucklehead plays, if you can remove those, you allow yourself to achieve at a high level. Like I said, just do what you're supposed to do, make the plays you're supposed to make, and then when you get in critical mass, then have an opportunity to make a play. that you should be able to make against a good team.
Last thing then, what's the swing game on the schedule for Nebraska?
Colorado.
Week 2?
Colorado. Like here's the thing. It cures a lot of things and allows you to stretch your legs, put your chest out, raise your chin to the sky, and start to look forward and up. But if you lose to Colorado, you're going to go back slightly into that cocoon to figure out how do we rebrand ourselves and re-release ourselves. And then you have to start over again, because whatever you did against UTEP wouldn't matter if you don't repeat the same kind of performance against Colorado. If you repeat that, then momentum allows you to destroy Northern Iowa and then go forward. You cough and stumble against Colorado, it negates every good thing that happens against UTEP.
I think there's a flip side to that as well. Let's say you beat Colorado. I like your scar tissue example, so that's what I'm going to roll with. You beat Colorado, and that's the scar tissue popping.
Yep.
Nothing's wrong. Yep. Like the scar tissue is what's extra. You pop it. Nothing's wrong with your knee, your arm, whatever.
Yeah.
But it still freaks you out. Like, I don't know how to handle this. You come back against Northern Iowa and you're a little sloppy. Don't know how to handle success. Find a way to win, and then you propel.
No, I think you have to learn how to win.
Correct.
And learning how to win is, again, an accumulation of making the plays, base level plays, consecutively consistent. That the teams that I coach, we didn't have those down weeks and down games because, quite frankly, we said, if we block, tackle, run, throw, we do those things consistently, peripheral things don't really come into play unless it's an exceptional 5-star or somebody on a heater, right? Which is going to happen.
95% of the time,
right,
it doesn't come into play.
Which is right.
Yeah.
So do the things that you're supposed to do consistently well.
Yeah.
Like that's 8 wins in the Big Ten Conference, in a Big Ten Conference schedule with non-conference. Consistently well. Just do those things. You listen, the bad Nebraska teams couldn't make a snap from center to quarterback. They couldn't make an extra point. They couldn't make a makeable field goal, and they made terrible decisions against Iowa, who simply told you, we're going to outlast you and wait for you to make that mistake. Oh, you haven't made that mistake yet. Hey, Strick, you haven't missed that jumper yet. Hey, you know you're going to miss the big jumper, right? It don't matter how many jumpers you make. You're going to miss the big jumper in the fourth quarter, right? You're going to turn it over. You know I'm going to take it from you. You know what I'm going to take it from you. And in your head, you just go, okay, here's the one. Oh, now he took it from me. That's Nebraska football, is that stop doing those minimal things. Stop having a quarterback throw the ball into the turf on a flat route that he can make that throw 99 times out of 99. Make that throw, bro. Like, that's what we're at. Don't skip it. Oh, he skipped the throw to the flat. Like, hey, man.
And the guy's wide open.
Wide open. It's a win, right? It's a win. Just don't be what Nebraska's been, and you'll be fine.
I feel like that was a very Indianapolis Colts Week 18 example.
How about that?
You know, I guess it happens to other people too. It just happens to me. I don't know.
Sir.
What's coming up on Old School real quick, DP?
I want to go through because I want to give you a chance to loud your boy, Be Wit. Hitting 349 with 24 bombs
and 89 steaks.
Where does he rank in Major League Baseball? In a draft of every Major League player, where does Bobby Witt stand right now based on the level he's playing? And then let's get into that depth chart, baby. What do we think is going to happen? How do you line up if you're Husker football?
There we go. That'll be Old School. I'm with DP since Jay Foreman is out today. Stricky, it's been fun. What's tomorrow?
Thursday, mañana.
Come back with us for Old School and On the Block tomorrow.
Grandma and Grandpa, Mom and Dad, then the kids, and now the grandkids. Judson Irrigation has provided lawn sprinkler system design, installation, repair, and service to 4 generations. They're just like members of the family. Loyalty, trust, service. It's what you deserve and expect from Judson Irrigation.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
At Fairway Meat Market, your family. And as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries.